So, I think I'm going to go see a U-Haul. And guess what, guys? Guess what size shirt I'm wearing? I'm wearing an extra large. Most people would be excited about that, but I'm wearing an extra large, and it's comfortable. I was hitting 3X in men's shirts. Now, mind you, I wear things a little baggy, so it wasn't like skin tight or anything. But I needed a 3X. Like the 2X was just a little bit too grabby on me. And to be in an extra large shirt, by the way, it's the Mandalorian. You see the curve of my boobs are right where his chest is. But anyway, I think I'm gonna go look at a U-Haul today. Just for fun, because a lot of people have been like, it has been a while since I've driven something the size of a U-Haul, so I figure I might as well just go check it out. So I meant to film while I was at the U-Haul place, and I just forgot. I get in situations like that where I'm gathering information and I just forget to turn on the camera. I keep telling you guys I'm a horrible YouTuber, and it's like you don't believe me. But anyway, the best part was, honestly, I knew I wanted the mom's attic, but I didn't know what it really felt like to have the 14-foot box, which the box itself isn't actually 14. It's 14 at its longest point, and it hangs over the front cab a little bit, so it's actually less than that. You lose a little bit over 2 feet on the mom's attic part. But the thing is, like, I'm only 5'4". Standing in there after living in a car and a minivan and this van, which were all upgrades, that felt like a mansion. Like, I literally was like, oh my God, if I can get one of these, not today, it would be amazing. And it firmly made, and I sat in the driver's seat and, felt out the cab and everything. But really, it made me even more in love with the idea of doing a box truck. Now, also, there's a guy specifically for sales for box trucks. Well, for all of their used vehicles, they also have cargo vans. So, by the way, guys, yeah, they also have cargo vans and all these other things. Now, keep in mind, there is the complications that these are rental vehicles to people who are not truckers. So, you always have that problem kind of going on. I mean, you're getting a used vehicle that may have had one owner, which is U-Haul, but has had multiple inexperienced drivers who are not used to driving commercial trucks. So it's a sort of double-edged sword. I mean, the good thing is, like, U-Haul is everywhere. So if I did go U-Haul, I am keeping an eye on a few box truck sales as I gather money and work on selling this van. So there are other options, and sometimes you can find the U-Haul truck being resold by somebody else, and even if it has more miles than the trucks that you find at U-Haul, the good thing is that was probably that person's only truck. So even if they bought it, they've been fixing it up, they've been keeping the maintenance on it. So in a way, it could be advantageous to find, if I do get a U-Haul truck, I'm also looking at other trucks from somebody else. Penske trucks are much more expensive, but I think they are more often driven by, like, actual experienced drivers. But that's just some things to think about. But standing in that box, I got to stand in the 14 and the 17. And the 17, for its extra space, didn't feel all that much more spacious than the 14. The 14-footer was, like, more than enough room. And again, I wish I'd actually... Hello, fire department. I wish I'd actually, like, filmed myself in there. Thank you, truck. I would go, now mind you, I'd have a much larger vehicle to navigate in the world, but I would go from not standing up in my house to not being able to reach the ceiling in my house. That's how much of a change this would be for me. Because there's still, like, I had to stand on my tippy toes just to try to touch the ceiling, and I wasn't even accomplishing it. And I got a good look at the mom's attic. It's really hard to tell from photos if the mom's attic, would be big enough for me to put on a bed. I'm going to have to extend it out some. But, like, going through the thoughts in my head, I was like, yeah, I could totally turn this into a bed, even at the length it is, but I'm going to try to make it the exact size of a twin bed. Just for comfort reasons. But it was like, whoa, there is so much space up here. And the way I've watched a couple of videos of people who got the truck with the overhang. The people who've done box trucks got the truck with the whole overhang specifically so that they could make a bed up there. And they got up there and was like, this isn't enough space, because I don't care about sitting up in bed. When I go to bed, it's going to be to go to sleep. But if I have a house space I can not only sit in but stand up in, like, that's more important to me. But I was just blown away. I was like, if I can get one of these trucks somehow, like, my life would be so comfortable. Now, there would be discomfort driving. I would really have to ease into that. But I think somewhere in the future, I would have ended up with a big RV anyway. I may still end up with an RV in far off future when I'm a little more decrepit. And retirement age, and can just be out without having to worry so much about things that fit in the city. But even driving up here, every time I saw like a box truck parked on the street, I took a good long look at it. And it seemed fine. I mean, like, if there was a whole street of nothing but like box trucks with windows and bicycle racks on the back, yeah, people gonna pay attention. But, like, the stray box truck here and there looks entirely normal. I know there's a lot of, like, discussions about the stealthiness of box trucks. And it really depends on how you live in it, to be quite honest. And what you do to the outside of it. I mean, and that's true even in a vehicle this size. The more you do to the outside of your vehicle, it's either going to up or lower some sort of stealthogram that we have for vehicles. And I don't stress about that stuff anymore, because I'm moving towards a future where stealth is something I do every once in a while. Like, that is my goal for my future, and I'm hoping I can make it happen. But just to summarize, every truck they had was a piece of crap. And luckily, like, the guy who does sales, the good thing about U-Haul sales is they're not dealers. They're just guys who have some trucks on their lot that are being taken out of commission. And so he was very honest. And when I came in and said, yeah, I wanted to inquire about the trucks you have for sale, and I had a specific number from the website of the one that seemed to have a reasonable average rating. And he was like, yeah, we've had catalytic converters stolen off of some of these trucks. And he like had all kinds of information. He's like, I'm going to be honest, nothing I have right now is good. And I have a list of 20 people who are waiting to be the first called if I get something that's ready to hit the road. Basically, everything they had available was a mechanic special in some way. There was something wrong with it where he's like, I wouldn't sell you this. And I was very open with him about what I was doing, and he thought it was really cool. I was like, I'm trying to find one that I could turn into a tiny house. And after he actually told me everything was a piece of crap before I actually looked at the trucks. But I was like, all these trucks just look like the same white box on the website. He was like, yeah, I know. You basically get no information on the website, and the pictures are useless. And I was like, but really, honestly, I just like to stand in one, just so I have an idea of, like, the space. Because I can't really conceive of the difference between the 14 and the 17-foot box. They're sold as, I think, a 15 and a 20. But I think that has to do with, like, maybe into rear or wheelbase, I don't know. But the actual box sizes at the longest point, which is the top of the mom's attic, that's where they get that 14 and 17 that they use for U-Haul sales. What's weird is they use something else for U-Haul rentals. Really weird. But he was like, yeah, sure, you can. I was like, I just want to see what a truck looks like. They all look alike. And so this way, if I keep searching, I'm not wondering, they all look alike. I know what the truck looks like. I just want to find one that's not a piece of crap and would actually be drivable without me having to run to a mechanic, like, right away. And so, like, that's basically my goal. It's so crazy. I watched a video of some guys who had bought a box truck recently, and they got a truck that's running fine for a little over $5,000, or they didn't tell anybody about the repairs that they had to put into the truck after they bought it, because everything they had cost more than $5,000, and all of them are in crap mechanical condition on top of that. So at this point, I'm more looking to see what's in reasonable difference distance without really crappy truck quality. So before I close this video out, because this is all I'm going to do for this video, it's going to be really boring, but you're getting that day in the life real stuff you said you wanted. Again, I am wearing an extra large shirt. I was starting to have to buy 3X shirts just to be comfortable. I feel so awesome about this. I'm not feeling awesome about the U-Haul situation. Because even though I don't have the money, the cash on hand, I always had this idea that it was going to be really easy because U-Haul has 1 billion trucks, but I didn't realize how many of them were just trash. So I'm really keeping an eye out on maybe people who already own U-Haul trucks that they fixed up, because the price point is kind of the same. When I've seen private sellers who were selling or reselling their trucks, and it may just be because like they had some new stuff, they're usually about 10 years older than the ones that U-Haul have. Most of the U-Hauls are 2007, 2006 that are up for sale right now, and some of the U-Hauls from private sellers or previous U-Haul trucks are a little bit older than that. And I think there's a point where I think there's just like a cycle. So even if U-Haul has something that's like, you know, an early 2000s, they may not sell those anymore. They may have just cycled those out in some way. But it was really good to stand inside the box, to actually stand in it and really be able to visualize, not in an imaginary way with the dimensions. Nothing beats physically standing in a space. It was nice to see that there really isn't much difference to write home about it between the 17 footer and the 14. The guy was like, honestly, the 14's going to fit pretty decently into standard parking. Once you get into the 17-foot box, which is the 20-foot U-Haul truck, then it gets kind of iffy. And in just that little bit of difference, which is about 2 feet in the back, but even looking at the 17 and 14 side by side, it's just a little bit bigger and all the way around, which could actually be a negative. And really my deal is the mom's attic. So if I can find a 14 footer, that's in decent condition that I can afford when the time comes, I'm totally into that. All right, that's it. See you in the next video. I'm going to do this thing that all the YouTubers do. Thank you for watching another video. I'm coming a little bit out of a funk, and I knew I just needed to like motivate myself to do something fun, which is why I just went to look at the trucks. I mean, even though I ended up not even finding something to put on my watch to see if it hangs around list, it was still fun to go and fun to actually, you know, talk to the guy about the trucks and get some information. All that being said, I got business to do. I'm going to remind you that underneath this video is a subscribe button. So if for some silly reason you want to subscribe to my channel, you could hit that. There's also a thumbs up button and a thumbs down button in a way of giving me feedback for the video. There's a comment section if you want to say something about the video. And I'll see you in the next video.